Year-old really putting in the pressure on the rest of the riders. A few little changes to races during this Track World Cup, but we'll update you on those as things happen. Cameron Meyer there, wearing number 21, 2009. He was the junior world champion of the points race, and at this point, here we go. We've got Mark Stewart and Cameron Meyer gaining a lap on the rest of the field. The young Scottish rider looking very, very good indeed. Meyer then really accelerating here on the front, looking superb. Remember, he took a little bit of a gap in his racing. He was originally riding for Team Dimension Data on the road, and he just said that he needed a little bit of time off to get himself back and feeling mentally fresh. This performance here on the track shows that Cameron Meyer is looking very, very strong indeed. Closing in there on the riders and scoring many points, in fact well over double the amount of points of any other rider. 6 sprints, Meyer with 55, Mark Stewart with 23 points. Benjamin Thomas then of France on the front of this trio of riders. On his wheel, Sam Harrison, wearing the colours of Team USN, and also going with him then is Cameron Meyer yet again. The final lap as Claudio Imhoff tries to go clear for Switzerland. Meyer looking absolutely supreme. That lap taken by Thomas and Harrison puts Mark Stewart of Scotland down into 4th place. And as they cross the line for the final lap, it's Claudio Imhoff who takes the points. Cameron Meyer, supreme, the 28-year-old Australian, world champion of the points race on 3 occasions, 2009, 10 and 12. Top of the leaderboard with a massive advantage on the rest of the field. Ben Thomas in 2nd place on 44. Well, there's our podium. Cameron Meyer. A great performance by the Australian.
Please acknowledge all our medalists.
I spent 4 years away from the track, but I have a real passion. It's where I started my career. And to be back at international events like this, I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully more to come.
Great performance by Cameron Meyer. Let's take a look back at the Women's Madison. Well, Women's Madison racing appearing in a Track World Cup for the very first time. A great change to what's going on. 72 laps to go then as the racing starts to heat up. And the riders really putting in some strong performances as we see the Belgian duo throwing in their partner, the French pairing of Laurie Burton and Coralie de May looking good at the front here in the blue. 70 laps to go, and Laurie Burton, the silver medalist in the World Championships in the Omnium, taking 5 points at the first of the sprints. The Ukrainian team then starting to put the pressure on the rest of the riders. Coming up to the next sprint. Oh, a big crash. And Katie Archibald hitting the deck. Here we go as we see the crash. Manon Lloyd there. And over the top goes Katie Archibald. The Russian team also there. But Archibald getting back onto the track. Archibald, a tough competitor, 57 laps to go, and the pressure firmly on. Manon Lloyd eventually now remounting, getting into the race. Well, Manon Lloyd, the bronze medalist in the team pursuit in the European Championships, back up on the track. The French dominating this race so far. 12 points to them as we go to 32 laps of racing to go. So it's Laurie Burton. Coralie de May, who rides for Futuroscope, now trying to get on terms here with Katie Archibald, suffering with the pain of that crash, but now starting to pick up a few points along the way. 30 laps of racing to go. Katie Archibald, you can see the battle scars, the number flapping in the wind. It's time to close in a little bit on the performance of France. 14 points to France, 10 points to Great Britain. The French producing a great performance here in this first ever Madison. Archibald goes clear, yet again trying to put the rest of these riders under tremendous pressure. This is the Olympic champion of the team pursuit, the French with Laurie Berton now trying to close in on a few more points. Archibald scores the maximum number of points there. The standings so close after 6 sprints. France with 17, Great Britain with 15, the Ukrainian team in 3rd place, the Russians also up there with Maria Averina and Diana Klimova. 11 laps to go, the next sprint lap going on. That's the Ukrainian pairing go clear yet again. The Czech Republic in the blue trying to get back on terms, and the Russian squad going to score some points here with Averina and Klimova. Klimova, the 20-year-old rider. Still 2 points between these riders then as they head towards the next sprint, the final sprint of the day. And now we see Katie Archibald. Look at the amount of pressure she's putting in, trying to beat Laurie Berton. Berton trying to come back at her here. This is an important sprint as they hit the line. Archibald takes the final sprint. A tremendous performance by her to get the crowd right on their feet. Katie Archibald and Manon Lloyd take the final double point sprint of the women's Madison, and they go top of the leaderboard, switching round the advantage, 25 points to 23, with Russia with 13 points. Well, there's our podium. All smiles from Great Britain. France takes silver, Russia take the bronze.
This is the first time I've ever raced in International Madison. It's the first time they've had one at a World Cup. The level of performance is really high, but we've not got the experience. And so this is the kind of stuff that does happen in the men's International Madison. It's a really dangerous event.
All smiles then from the British pairing. Well, here's the crowd then as they look out. And we're going to go live with some action now from the velodrome. Well, we're going to take a look here at the men's individual pursuit final. And this is Stanewski of Poland, who's up against a season campaigner on the road, Sylvain Chavanel. Sylvain Chavanel of France, great to see him here and riding on the track in this World Cup. Looking, of course, to make sure that he can continue his career here on the track. A great reception for Sylvain Chavanel. Counting down to the race start. This is for the gold medal. Stanizevski on the left-hand side, Sylvain Chavanel on the right-hand side. Chavanel, of course, 3 stage wins in the Tour de France in 2008 and 2010. He's been the national road race champion of France, the national time trial champion, so it lends itself very well to this discipline. He's been national champion of France in the individual time trial on 6 different occasions. But he's such a versatile rider, so he's turning his attention now here to the track. Member, of course, of the team time trial winning squads of the World Championships for Omega Pharma Quick Step in 2013 and 2012. Very, very strong rider indeed. But this year, he's turned his attention back to the track a little bit. He was part of the Team Pursuit winning European Championship squad in Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines in the European Championships. So his versatility for France is extremely useful to guide some of these young riders, of course, and also to give a little bit of inspiration. Stanaszewski of Poland, good pursuiter, has a very long hand position, as you can see, really tucks down to be as aerodynamic as possible, but Chavanel at the moment goes through the 1,000 meters point in 1:8.758. Looks very comfortable indeed on those aero skis. Stanaszewski just 0.303 down at this point in this competition. Well, thanks very much for joining us. If you would like to tweet in and get involved in the action this afternoon, then please do, @AntLacrossan. So it's ANT. Lacrossan is where you can tweet me and we can answer any of your questions, and we'll get a little bit interactive as this action continues. Chavanel then, really high cadence, looking good, and starting to turn the pressure up through the 2,000 meters point. 2:11.344 is the time ahead of the time of Stanaszewski, 2:12.025. Just wonder whether this Polish rider can find a little bit more speed as Chavanel continues to turn the pressure onto the Polish rider, who looks, as you can see, is kicking on a little bit. The bike moving quite a lot off that black line as he tries to find a little bit more speed. Chavanel, having had so many hours on the bike with a career that spans all the way back to 2000 when he turned professional with the Bonjour team. He then rode for Cofidis, for Quick Step, for Yam Cycling. He's now a member of the Direct Energy team. Chavanel starting to rock and roll a little bit. Those gritted teeth that we've become so used to in major bike races when he's under effort. 3,000 meters in 3:15. He looks like he has the measure of this Polish rider. Stanaszewski, though, needs to try and come back a little bit at Chavanel. He's got that folded over hand position. Chavanel nice and relaxed. That quite not so open hand position, just nice and firm, just letting the air flow over the hands. Stanaszewski with a turned over hand position that does slice through the air very, very nicely. He just doesn't look as comfortable, does he? Chavanel constantly keeping the cadence nice and high now, through 3,500 meters in 3:47. And let's see now whether Chavanel can continue with this effort. Still looks very comfortable indeed, but this is hurting. 1 lap of racing to go. He's 2.081 up. The effort really starting to tell. The shoulders are all over the place. He's just losing the effort a little bit off that pursuiter's line, but it looks like Chavanel has the measure of the Polish rider in a time of 4:20.567, 55.264 kilometers an hour. Chavanel wins that great contest there for the individual pursuit gold. He's really, really happy with that. He's a great competitor. 37 years of age now. High fives for his coach. Sylvain Chavanel takes the individual pursuit. Here's the highlights then. Looked good as he went out of the start. At this point, he looked very composed. Very, very comfortable indeed. Later on in the race, the pressure really starting to tell on the body of Sylvain Chavanel. Just constantly looking across at his coach, giving those little updates on what is going on the track. but really does cruise, doesn't he? Great performance by Chavanel. Lovely to see him here on the track. Maybe been inspired by the comebacks of riders to the track like Cavendish and Wiggins. That wasn't easy. Those legs are hurting. Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope you'll enjoy stepping in and out of both the highlights of the last few days, but also the live coverage on the final day of this UCI Track World Cup here in Glasgow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next event is the elimination race, the third event of the women's omnium.
Confirmation then that Sylvain Chavanel takes the gold, Daniel Staniszewski of Poland takes the silver. Dion Boekerbom of the Netherlands took third place. You count through the rest of the classification. That's the women's omnium standings after 2 events so far. We're going to turn our attention to that now. Now, the women's omnium, let's just explain to you. If you've got used to what the omnium was, erase it from your minds, because this is what the omnium is now. We have got 4 different events, and we've removed all the timed events, so it now becomes the scratch race, the elimination race, the tempo and the points. And we're going to see now the women's elimination race. We've already had a couple of rounds. All the riders up on the track. We count our way through all of them till we end up with 2 riders left on the track. And then that will decide the standings as we go into the final race, which we've always got used to, which is the points race. So far, these riders have ridden the scratch race, the tempo race. If you don't know what a tempo race is, unfortunately, we're not going to show you it, so you still won't know what it is. But just to explain briefly, 7.5 kilometers of racing, sprints every lap, a lap after 5 laps, and then you get an overall winner. If you win an event in the Omnium, you get 40 points. If you're second, you get 38. Third, you get 36, and counting on down from there. You get the idea. This is then the elimination race to decide who will be at the top of the leaderboard going into the final race. The other big change is the Omnium now is over 1 day as opposed to 2 days. You really have to be on absolutely top form. As things stand then, Kajihara of Japan is the leader with 80 points. Maximum points so far. Won the scratch race, won the tempo race. Second place is Emily Kay of Great Britain with 72. Kopecky of Belgium is in third place. Sharakova of Belarus is in 4th place so far. Just changing the little hold up here is the fact that the little orange box that you can see there is just getting swapped over for this rider. to Xiao Meiyu, who's just getting things changed over here. And we need to make sure the little orange box works, because that tells the rider when they're eliminated. So it flashes to tell them they are removed from the action. Okay. The other box wasn't working. This one now is. Join me on Twitter if you'd like to, as we just get ready now for action at and across. And if you'd like to follow the hashtag Tissot UCI Track WC is where you can follow all the action. Ask us any questions, get involved in the action. We're going to be bringing you all the live coverage of the Track World Cups. 4 different rounds. Next round is going to be in Apeldoorn. Then we move to Cali in Colombia, and we finish up in California, in Los Angeles, as we head towards, of course, the World Championships. And we're underway now, so remember that the elimination race, everything happens at the back of the race. You're eliminated every couple of laps. The gun is about to go. Kajihara, who is currently leading, is an Asian champion in the scratch race. 19 years of age, very talented Japanese rider. And just remember that the riders will be eliminated at the back. It looks like the Australian rider is in difficulty here, and that's Alexandra Manley, who's just trying to find a way through. Always difficult when it's so compact, but Manley rides very well in a peloton. So it looks like our first rider is being eliminated, and that is number 6 there, Susabiaga. In fact, it's not Usabiaga, well, it is. It is the Spanish rider who has been eliminated, but the German rider has dropped out far too early. That's Tatiana Paula. The Spanish rider has been removed, Usabiaga. So we'll see what the judges now do as we make our way around the track again. Really tight in there right now. Well, I don't know if the German rider dropped out because they were eliminated or dropped out because they had a problem. And it's the rider from Taipei then who has been removed from the action. That will be Xiao Meiyu. Looks like the Irish rider at the back here, Lydia Boylan, is in difficulty. The Spanish rider should still be out of the race, but I don't know whether the judges are going to call her out. And right at the bottom of the track, the next rider again is Usabiaga, but the Hong Kong China rider has been eliminated. That's Pang Yao, who's now out of the race. As they rattle across the line yet again. The Spanish rider again at the back of the group has already been eliminated. Very close there. And the Irish rider then, Lydia Boylan, is removed from the action. Simona Krupa, the Lithuanian rider, Othrin Trabaita at the back. Her compatriot Krupakait has been riding really well in the other women's races. Trabaita now in a little bit of difficulty, needs to score some points. Usabiaga finally is out of the race. It's been called out twice so far. and still doesn't believe she's out. I think the crowd were getting a little bit animated then. Riding on the front then is Emily Kay of Great Britain, who's lying second overall in this race. Oh, a little bit of bumping and barging going on there between Klimchenko of the Ukraine, just trying to find her way out of that little tight spot that she was in. And Trabajta then is she going to be eliminated or not? Looked like the Italian then. So the Italian is removed from the race. Simona Frapporti. Very good team pursuiter is Frapporti. Right on the road. Just got caught out there by that little acceleration. And you can hear the Japanese coach in the background getting very, very animated indeed. See whether action continues. And is the leader of the race going to be out here? Oh, that was close. The Chinese rider wearing number 4, Lu Chaoling, is eliminated from the race. Lu Chaoling then out of this elimination. The two riders who are at the top of the leaderboard, Kajihara and Kei, need to keep themselves up towards the front. You can constantly hear the Japanese coach absolutely screaming at Kajihara. The rider from the Czech Republic now is the rider in difficulty at the back, wearing number 5 there. And that is Lucy Hochman, and does get eliminated. Lucy Hochman taken out of the action then. It's quite tough in here now. Who's going to be out of the race this time? Looks like the rider from the Ukraine in the blue and yellow. Alex Manley also in trouble. And that's the rider in white for Australia. Lotte Kopecky in the blue of Belgium, moving up on the outside. Emily Kay is riding a tremendously controlled omnium right now. Also Trabajta of Lithuania then is removed from the action. So she goes out. Counting down to the last few riders here. Alex Manley rides for the Orica AIS team on the track, a silver medalist in the Oceania Under-23 Time Trial and Road Race Championships, now moves to the front. Looks to have things under control. The Ukrainian rider just can't find a gap as this young rider from Japan moves up on the outside with relative ease. Only 19 years of age. Also a silver medalist in the team pursuit in the Asian Championships, as we see the Norwegian rider removed. That's Anita Stenberg, the 24-year-old, really talented Norwegian rider. Moving up on the outside for France is Roxane Fournier, a stage winner in the Ardèche, as Emily Kay goes back to the front yet again. Really impressed with the way Kay is riding this race. So I'm impressed with Kajihara. Kajihara, these two young riders, looking good. The Polish rider just going to the front that time, and the Belarusian Tatiana Shalakova is removed from the action. The 32-year-old rider, world champion of the points race, is then removed from the peloton. So we're down to the last few riders now. Daria Pikulik is on the front for Poland. Kajihara moves up on the outside. Roxane Fournier in difficulty, squeezes past the Ukrainian rider. Tatiana Klimchenko. Oh, this is going to be tight in here. Oh, who's going to be eliminated? It looked like the French rider. Roxane Fournier just squeezed out there. She'll be really disappointed with that. She's a very good rider, 24-year-old rider, rides on the road for the Futuroscope team. Stage winner in the Route de France. Kajihara's got to get past here on the outside. Emily Kay moves around, looks at Kajihara to see where she is. Lotte Kopecky on the front. Kopecky was the young rider you may remember from the Olympic Games, who was on the attack for a lot of the opening phases of the women's road race. And finally, the Ukrainian succumbs to the pace. Tatiana Klimchenko removed from the action. Daria Pikulik, another young rider from Poland, a former junior champion of the world. Alexander Manley in second place. For Australian fans, she's looking like she looks pretty comfortable. Emily Kay's moving up on the outside. Lotte Kopecky, I was talking to her just before the start, enjoying being here in this Omnium, found the tempo race difficult. Emily Kay squeezes through there and eliminates Daria Pikulik. We are down to the last few riders now. Alexandra Manley goes to the front for Australia, wearing number 1. Behind her, Kopecky, then Emily Kay, then Kajihara. Kajihara, unbeaten in this Omnium so far, has won the first 2 rounds. All these riders just trying to set themselves up to be in a good position for the points race, because all the points get accumulated to find out who will win the World Cup. Lotte Kopecky with a great sprint. Kay goes through. Is Kajihara going to be eliminated? Oh, they throw their bikes to the line. Alexander Manley of Australia is the last rider. Crossed the line that time. Disappointment for the Australian, but 4th place is nice and consistent. Consistency is key in an Omnium, although we're getting used to this new format with the scratch, the tempo. 3rd is the elimination, then the points race. All very demanding events. The coach is just whistling. Kajihara looking to get through here. Emily Kay looks to be in difficulty for Great Britain. She's trying to find a little bit more speed. Can she get past and squeeze past Kajihara? It's going to be close. She manages to do it. For the first time, Kajihara, I think, has been eliminated. The Japanese rider is out. It comes down to the final 2. So this is interesting. A fantastic performance by this Japanese rider, but it's going to come down to Lotte Kopecky and Emily Kay, who've actually ridden against each other on the track in Manchester a few weeks ago. And Lotte Kopecky fancies this one, but if Kay wins this, she would go close to the top of the leaderboard. Lotte Kopecky has got a great sprint on her though. Big sprint by Lotte Kopecky. And I think Emily Kay is going to take second. Lotte Kopecky takes first. Tremendous performance by the Belgian rider. European Madison champion takes the applause of the crowd. Rides for the Lotto Soudal team. She got the measure there of Emily Kay. She'll move herself into 3rd place now in the standings. Emily Kay will be in 2nd place for Great Britain, and Kajihara of Japan will be in the lead with 116 points. It's very tight at the top of the women's Omnium after 3 rounds of racing. And we will see the conclusion of this Omnium before the end of the afternoon. Well, Lotte Kopecky is a real competitor. One of the most talented young riders in women's cycling. She comes from that era of Amelie Diedrichsen, the new world road race champion, who believe that they are good enough to win big. There's the result. Lotte Kopecky takes the win ahead of Emily Kay. Yumi Kajihara in 3rd, Alex Manley, Daria Pikulik, and that's the countdown of the top 80. Confirmation of the standings after 3 events, so it's going to be a thrilling points race. Make sure that you watch that. 6 points separate the top 2, 8 points separate the top 3. It's all to play for with so many points on offer at the final race. we turn our attention then to the women's team sprint. Now we're going to have the Russian team up against Australia. Women's team sprint about to get underway. This is the Russian team, Natalia Antonova and Tatiana Kiseleva, up against Courtney Field and Holly Takos of Australia. Underway then for both these teams. Look at the effort being put in there by the first rider out of the start, going off like an absolute rocket for Australia. What a performance by the Australian rider. Looks like Courtney Field, but the Russians seem to have the measure of them very, very slightly. So it is Kiseleva against Takos. Who is going to take this one? Is it going to be the Australians? Is it going to be Russia? Australia with a big, big start. Who takes it? Russia with a time of 33.630. So Russia take it. Average speed 53.523 kilometers an hour. The Russians throwing the bike at the line then, all thumbs up. Confirmation then, Russia 33.630, Australia 34.546, so the bronze medal goes to the Russian team. Thank you for joining us for our live coverage and our highlights of today's racing. If you'd like to get us in Twitter, @AntMcCrossan is where you can message in as we take a look at the Chinese squad. This is Han Jun and Lu Li. It will be Han Jun who leads off. And this is the Spanish team of Tatiana Calvo and Helena Casas. Getting ready, counting down then, 30 seconds to go. This is the Chinese team, Han Jun and Lu Jili. A new pairing here for China, swapping things out. And that's what you'll see in this World Cup, a few new names to get to know and a few seasoned campaigners. Whoa, big start there by both these teams. Tania Calvo getting going there for the Spanish squad, leading off, trying to get all the effort through that bike. Tania Calvo, twice a silver medalist in the European Championships, 24 years of age, goes through there with China just behind, so Spain leads. This could be a real turn up for the books. The Spanish team now accelerating hard with Helena Casas and looking to try and take this gold medal. They hit the line, they take it, 33.351. 53.971 kilometers an hour. The Spanish coach really pleased with the performance of Tania Calvo and Helena Casas. Great performance by the Spanish team. Look at that change. Absolutely flying around the track. these two riders a little bit more experienced than the Chinese pairing. All these points very, very important though. We are into the next phase of qualification for major competitions. So every World Cup win, very important. Confirmation then that Spain take the gold medal here in Glasgow. We turn our attention back then to the men's team pursuit, which ended up with a gold medal ride-off between France and Great Britain. There's the French team. And the British team on the other side. Mark Stewart, Keirin, Andy Tennant, Ollie Woods. And the French team with Ben Thomas, Sylvain Chavanel, Corentin Ermenau and Audrien Carrel. Underway then, the French, as you notice, in a different kit, with the European Championship jersey. Only one member of the team not wearing that European Championship jersey, as we take a look here at the performance through the opening phase of the race. Great Britain with a changed team, and I guess Andy Tennant is the most experienced rider in here, an individual pursuit European champion. And Tennant, a world champion of the team pursuit, of course, through the 500 metres point, with France keeping the pressure on. Still in second place though, just a little bit down. The European champions trying to up the tempo a little bit. Corentin Ermenau is in this team. His dad was Philippe, or is Philippe Ermenau, a champion of the team pursuit in the Olympic Games. Twice a European champion of the team pursuit and the individual pursuits. But the British team looking good. And the British team really up in the tempo now, trying to put the French team into difficulty through the 2,250 metres point. And going now towards the final phase of the race. The French team looking very, very good, but Great Britain turning the tempo up on them now. Looking like a ride of underneath 4 minutes for the Great Britain team at this sort of tempo. Losing a rider. Heiko, their coach, looking a little bit under pressure. He knows how critical it is with only 3 riders left now in the race. The French team starting to lose the wheel at the back. Just a little few gaps opening up here as Great Britain kick on a little bit here with Mark Stewart racing now towards the finishing line. Great Britain at a time of 3:58.891 ahead of the French squad. 60 kilometers an hour and the crowd on their feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all our medalists.
We actually started faster than we wanted to, so we kind of slowed it down a bit and then kind of thought we'll bring it home strong, and it's kind of what we did, but in a difficult way. This is my first win in a team pursuit, so to do it in kind of a home crowd's absolutely amazing, with my mum and dad in the stands. It's awesome.
We look here at the women's team pursuit, and this is the final between this Great Britain team here on the left-hand side of the track, and the other side of the track is Italy with a very successful now team pursuit squad. They seem to be getting things very organised as far as team pursuiting is concerned. Getting ready now and counting down to the race start. underway then. The Italian team with some of the European champions in the squad. Simona Frapporti, who's 28 years of age, the most experienced rider in this group, rides for the high-tech team, European team pursuit champion. Also in this squad, though, Elisa Balsamo, the new junior world champion on the road, just has won that in Doha. Maria Confalonieri, who's 23 years of age, very young team apart from Frapporti at 28. Francesco Pataro, 21 years of age. Up against the Great Britain team, which is completely changed to the Olympic team that we saw in Rio dominate. So here we have Emily Kay, Ellie Dickinson, Manon Lloyd and Emily Nelson. Emily Kay, 12 times a national champion, a junior world champion of the team pursuit. Ellie Dickinson, who rides for the Drops team, one of the professional women's teams. Manon Lloyd, who is becoming stronger and stronger all the time on the track. And Emily Nelson, a junior team pursuit world champion as well, and an under-23 European team pursuit champion as well. Emily Nelson, very strong. As we look at this team of Italy, looking very, very good indeed, being urged on here by the crowd. The Italians look so well drilled now as far as team pursuiting is concerned. Racing through now and still 0.480 ahead of the Great Britain team. Looking strong, putting the British team under a bit of pressure here. Frapporti, Balsamo, Confalonieri, Pataro trying now to stay with 4 riders, still 4 riders intact for both teams as we head towards the critical phase of the race, as we get towards the 3,000 metres point. Which of these two teams is going to be ahead when we get there? The Italians look to be losing a rider now, as one rider just drops off the back, but Great Britain do the same through 3,000 metres, and the Italians now look ragged. Suddenly they are under massive pressure. One of the riders at the back starting to struggle, and the front rider now dragging this team on, needs to swing up and drop into that gap to put the Italians back up there, and this is going to cost them the gold medal because Great Britain are starting to urge on the tempo a little bit, lifting the cadence. The Italian team very, very ragged indeed, and the British team now sprinting hard as they hit the finishing line. Great Britain win in 4:25.809. Gold medal for the Great Britain team of Emily Kay, Ellie Dickinson, Manon Lloyd and Emily Nelson, and their coach, a former world champion on the track, Chris Newton, encourages them and gives them a big round of applause.
Being in front of a home crowd and have them cheer you on like that, you know, I think that made the difference for us, and you know, we just wanted to do them proud and take all the way to the line.
Every time you come into the straight, you can just hear them screaming at you, and it just really makes you want to like dig that little bit deeper. That's what I think really helped us like pull away at the end there, was the crowd just like kept us going.
Great round of team pursuiting as we turn our attention now to the men's sprint and the gold medal ride-off between Kamil Kaczynski and Paweł Jakubowski of Russia, so the Polish rider in the red and white, the Russian rider in the red, white and blue. Kamil Kaczynski, 31 years of age, a team sprint, a European champion. All concentration. Best of 3 rides, remember, in a sprint. And these riders getting underway. So we see the Polish rider leading off now in this sprint. Looking to try and take the initiative as he makes his way up the banking here, looking around at the Russian rider, Paweł Jakubowski. A little bit of tactics going on. This track, of course, engineered but consulted on by Sir Chris Hoy, is a proper sprinter's track. He's built it that way. He was keen than it was fast for the sprinters. Coming round then to the bell, the Polish rider on the front, Kuzinski looking good, the Russian rider drag racing now to try and get on terms, comes alongside, and is the Russian going to get there? He throws his bike at the line. Jakubczewski takes the win in round number 1. It looked like the Polish rider had it, but this Russian rider on the outside squeezed through to take the victory. 1-0 to Jakubczewski of Russia. Big smile there. The Polish rider knows he's under a little bit of pressure. Trying to take that pressure away. Getting relaxed now. Big scar there on the shoulder, you can see. These riders, battle scars from the different sprints they've taken part in. All important then. The Polish rider needs to come back here. Jakubczewski 1-0 up. So the Russian rider takes this one, then that's it, game over. The gold medal would go to Russia. Lovely shot here as we make our way along the Côte d'Azur. That's the blue area at the bottom of the track. The black line there is the guideline. That's where we measure just how big this track is. It's exactly 250 meters. That is exactly where you measure the track from. The red line, the sprinter's line, that's where we decide the rules of this style of racing. As we get into the final phase, the first rider inside 200 meters to hit that red line and go inside it has then the initiative, has the line that the other rider is not allowed to dive inside. They have to go the long way round. So it's the Polish rider Kuzinski who has to get back on terms here. Jakubczewski of Russia has the advantage with 1-0, trying to hold the Polish rider up the track. This Polish rider, a real powerhouse, much bigger in terms of the muscle bulk than the Russian rider. Makes his way around the outside and he's going to throw his bike at the line. It's going to be 1-1 and we are going to go to a decider. Making our way in towards the finish line there, shoulder to shoulder, but it's the Polish rider Kuzinski who takes the win. 1-1 in the men's sprint, so we're going to go to run number 3. He really smiles. He loves this crowd, and they respond to him immediately. He's getting them on his side. He's using every little bit of advantage he can get. He really does like this crowd, you can tell. The Russian, little smile, a lot more focused. Making our way around the Côte d'Azur yet again. And it's 1-1 between these two riders. Who's going to take the victory in this men's sprint? Going right to the top of this very steep banking here in Glasgow. It's an interesting track, built very differently to a lot of the tracks that we see around the world. You'll notice the finishing line is so close to the end banking. A little bit of tactics going on now. Whoa, shoulder to shoulder as the Russian rider tries to... oh, we're bumping and barging even at the top. This is pure sprinting now. these two riders know just how important it is to get that inside line. The Russian rider hits the front. Jakishevsky looking very, very good. The Polish rider working that bike, trying to get on top of the gear, and somehow he finds the speed around the outside. That's going to delight the fans. He takes it. It is Kamil Kuczynski, the 31-year-old rider from Poland, the team sprint European champion, who takes the gold medal here in Glasgow. Just look how close that was between those riders. Just shoulder to shoulder. You don't see that very often now, just that tight sprinting where they are leaning on each other like that. Clean sprint round the final phase though. And the Polish coach urging on his rider to just use the strength and use the speed to get through. Kuczynski wins 2-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge our medalists.
That's my first World Cup winner in the sprints. At my second race in the sprint. The first one was last year in the Hong Kong. This one second, and I win. So it's amazing, you know. I love the crowd here. You know, they cheer me. You know, that was crazy, and I'm so much happy.
Well, the fans really love him, and he delighted them with his sprint.
From Czech Republic, from Spain, Margarita Lopez, from Team UCI Track.
This is the women's scratch race. As we're about to get underway. Women's scratch race about to get underway here in Glasgow. This is live coverage. Very good, strong group of riders here on the track. It includes Kirsten Wield. That's the Australian rider. McInnery, who is about to get started. Kirsten Wield. I talked to her just before the start. She says she's a little bit all over the place because she flew in from Los Angeles last night. She was with her Silence team for their first get-together of the season. Counting through. And the blue band there, the German rider we just saw was Lisa Kulmer. There at the front, Emily Nelson's actually been swapped in here for Katie Archibald. All concentration. You'll remember that Katie Archibald won the Women's Madison last night, and she did so with a fractured radius and fractured scaphoid after that crash in the Madison. Katie Archibald is officially nailed. There is no doubt about it. She rode the final 15K of that Madison with a fractured scaphoid and radius. So Emily Nelson's been swapped in to see what she can do here in this scratch race. The Australian rider in here is Danielle McInnery. Also in here for Austria, Verena Eberhard. Belgium represented by Kat van der Meulen. Marina Shmankova of Belarus. Laura Basso also riding in here today. Jamila Mashakova is representing the Czech Republic. It's Danielle McInnery of Australia on the front of the race so far. Finland represented by Sara Ferrara. Elise Delzenne of France, another very good road rider, is in here. Emily Nelson of Britain, Lisa Colmer, Ireland represented by Lydia Gurley. Kirsten Wild, though, a very accomplished track rider, a world champion on the track. As we see the first attack now starting to happen, that is Evgenia Romanuita of Russia going clear, 37 laps to go. Scratch race, very easy to understand. The first rider to cross the line is the winner. If you take a lap, you're a lap ahead of the rest of the field. No more complications. As Evgenia Romanuita continues with this attack at the front of the race. Romanuita, total focus here, trying to stay away from the rest of the field. Well, can she take a lap on the rest of the field? It looks like she's going to. This 28-year-old Russian rider is going to outwit everybody here with 34 laps to go. Well, this is a big attack. The European junior champion on the track has been the points race champion as well in Europe as an elite rider. And the field really didn't want this one to happen. It's going to be very difficult for another rider to take a lap. Can she get there? She's almost there now, closing in on the rest of the field. Evgenia Romanuita is now 1 lap ahead. Great performance by her. Comes from Tula in Russia. Romanuita then has taken the advantage on the rest of the field, so they have to take a lap. All she has to do now is follow, and she will be the overall winner. Really does concentrate on the track. We don't see her ride the road firmly on the track. She's been a European champion in the points race in 2011, as we mentioned. As another rider tries to go clear here. And this is the rider from Hong Kong, China, and that is Yang Kun Yu. Going clear of the front of the race now. It's interesting the way that this field is riding this scratch race. They're just letting riders go, which is a little bit unusual. They don't seem to want to go in groups to try and go across to take the win. As the Italian rider goes to the front, that's Maria Confalonieri. Joining up here with the Spanish rider wearing number 117, Margarita Lopez. Looks like we're going to have 4 riders, having said that no one's joining up at the front. 4 riders now going clear, but the rider from the Czech Republic in the blue, Jamila Mashakova, now trying to close in on this trio at the front. But the Italian rider keen to go clear, that's Maria Confalonieri. It's kicking on a little bit now. Kirsten Wild now decides that's it. She's got to do something about this. So Kirsten Wild with a massive acceleration on the front now, trying to go clear. She's a tremendous sprinter, isn't she? Medalist in the World Championships in Doha. She was beaten by Amelie Diedrichsen on that day. Confalonieri, 23 years of age, a under-23 European scratch race champion in her career. As we see Kirsten Wild now trying to urge on the rest of the riders to go clear. But Romanuita is still the leader of this points race, scratch race. Now the front, everything comes back yet again, and another attack starts to happen. One rider going clear. Elise Delzenne decides to go with this one. Elise Delzenne in the colours of France. comes up then to the wheel of the rider in front, and now we see the Irish rider, Lydia Gurley, going clear. Working very hard for this gap now, these two riders at the front. Lydia Gurley desperately trying to get there. Behind her is the Japanese rider, and that is Uano Minami. 20 laps of racing to go. There is number 192, Uano Minami. And these two riders at the front could well be about to take a lap. Delzen is a very good road rider, extremely strong. Joining up here with the Belarusian, that is Marina Shmankova. Everyone kind of keeps an eye on Kirsten Wild and just lets the rest of these riders just dive off the front. The minute Kirsten Wild went, everyone reacted. The minute she was caught, everyone sat back up again. Well, these two riders now sharing the pacemaking at the front. Elise Delzen rides on the road, a very good rider, national road race champion of 2013 for France. It looks like these two riders are going to get there now. Shmankova of Belarus and Delzen are now on the same lap as Romanoita. Just need to catch the back of the string. Just got a few more meters to go. Elise Delzen, winner of the Trophée d'Or in 2016, was second in the Classic Morbihan. Also last year was the French champion of the points race, the scratch race, and the individual pursuit. Delzen trying to get back on the back of the peloton, and now they take the lap. Confirmation then that they are back on the same lap. So Delzen, Shmankova, Romanoita are the three leaders of this race. Two more riders still out in the front. Looks then like the Japanese rider Uano and Gurley have got there as well. So 5 riders are now on the front of this race as far as the virtual front is concerned. Romanoita, the Russian rider, Delzen of France, Shmankova Belarus, Gurley of Ireland, Uano of Japan. Another rider goes clear. It's constant attacking now as the Belgian rider goes clear. This is Kat van der Meulen. Kirsten Wild is trying to ride this one down, trying to shut the gap. So it looks at this moment in time like we're going to have a fight between 5 riders for the overall victory in this scratch race. 9 laps of racing to go as we run out of time for any more riders to take a lap. Who has the sprint? That's the big question. I think Delzen for me would be the possible favourite here. Delzen is extremely talented. And now we see another attack. 8 laps of racing to go. It's the Austrian rider who now goes clear, Verena Eberhardt. Finnish rider trying to close this one up, Sara Ferrara. There are riders all over the track right now. 7 laps of racing to go. But it's still Romanoita, Russia, Delzen of France, Shmankova, Belarus, Gurley of Ireland, Uano of Japan, who are the 5 riders who are leading this scratch race. Gurley of Ireland also, to me, might have a little bit of a sprint here. Who's going to take it? Do join me on Twitter if you'd like. @AntMcCrossan is where you can tweet me if you'd like to ask any questions. Thank you for joining us this afternoon here in Glasgow for the Track World Cup. Big attack here. I think they've left this a little bit too late. It's the Ukrainian rider trying to go clear in the blue and yellow. That's Anna Narina going with Verena Eberhardt. 4 laps of racing to go. These riders then who have taken the lap, Romanoita, Delzen, Shmankova, Gurley and Uano, now need to have their wits about them, need to think very carefully about their tactics on the run into this finish. Eberhardt rocking and rolling a little bit, starting to feel the tempo. Looks like this race is coming back together. 2 laps to go. Kirsten Wild moves up on the outside. She hasn't taken a lap, but she'll want to get some points on the board as far as the World Cups is concerned. But who's going to take the victory? Remember, we have 5 riders here. Romanoita, Delzen, Schmeinkova, Gurley and Uwano. Who is going to take this one? Moving up on the outside, just looking to see who is the front rider as far as that group is concerned as Wild leads. Who's going to take the victory? Kirsten Wild hits the line. She will take the 6th place. And I'm looking to see who took the victory. We didn't see the peloton come across the line, which is a bit of a shame. But I think it was Elise Delzen, judging by the camera there, focusing on her. Hopefully we can see a slow motion, but Elise Delzen takes the victory, an average speed of 53.283 kilometers an hour. Uwano of Japan in 2nd, Romanoita of Russia in 3rd, Gurley of Ireland in 4th place. Elise Delzen wins the scratch race. Elise Delzen then, there's the sprint, there's the slow motion, racing through, a great sprint by her. I thought she might be the favourite in a sprint. Elise Delzen takes the scratch race. Confirmation then of the women's scratch race. Those riders took the lap. It's Delzen who takes the victory. Uwano, Romanoita, Gurley, Schmeinkova, Kirsten Wild was in 6th place at 1 lap down. There's the rundown of the rest of the positions. Road speed that she has and the strength paid dividends there. Elise Delzen.
On a fait peur quand tu perds la roue de Wild à la fin. Il fallait vraiment tenir sa roue. Tu t'en fous, même la vague de la polonaise. Il fallait vraiment tenir sa roue.
Mais ouais, je sais. Sinon, j'essaie toujours de me placer.
All smiles from the French rider. She goes into the track centre. She'll warm down on the rollers as usual. But a great performance by the French rider in front of this big crowd here in Glasgow who are enjoying this racing. Coming up next then, just to keep you updated, we're going to bring you the women's omnium, the final round of the points race. Then we'll show you highlights of the men's and women's keirin. We'll bring you the live men's sprint, the highlights of the women's sprint, and we finish off with the men's Madison. Here's the standings of the women's omnium. It's Kajihara with 116 points who leads. And then Emily Kay with 110, Kopecky with 108. The points then, Kajihara with 116, there she is, 110 to Emily Kay, 108 to Lotte Kopecky. Points race, all important then, points all the way along the different intermediate sprints. And if you take a lap, you take 20 points, and all your points are accumulated.
Please welcome the riders starting at the fence. From Japan, Yuri Kajihara. From Belgium, Lotte Kopecky. From Australia, Alexandra Manley. From Poland, Daria Pikulik. From Ukraine, Tatiana Kimchenko. From China, Xiaoyi Qiu. From Spain, Anna Usapiacha. From Ireland, Lydia Boylan. From Hong Kong, Gao Pan. Starting at the blue band, Great Britain's Emily Kay. From Belarus, Tatiana.
The riders then up on the track for this final round of the Omnium. The first time we've seen this new way of having the Omnium competition.
From Norway, Anita Stenberg. Germany, Tatiana Pala. Czech Republic, Lucy Hoffman. And Taichung cycling team, Mei Yun Xiang.
And a little bit of a problem here. The Italian rider needed, I think, a wheel change or something like that. So we will get her up on the track now. That's Simona Frapporti. Currently lying 8th overall in this Omnium. On the front then, Emily Kay gets this race underway. So it's a bit of a fight here between Kajihara of Japan, Kay of Great Britain, Kopecky of Belgium. But also don't forget that you can score many points. So Sharikova of Belarus, Manley of Australia, Fournier of France are still in the hunt here. So is Frapporti. Anything can happen. 80 laps. Sprints every 10 laps. And you score the points, you accumulate those, and you can score 20 points if you take a lap on the rest of the field. So it's all about being consistent in the point scoring, but also being vigilant along the way to any attacks. So far, Kajihara with 40 points for the first race, was the winner of the scratch. Tempo race also took 40 points, was third in the elimination. Emily Kay was fourth in the scratch race, second in the tempo, second in the elimination. Kopecky had a good scratch race, was second, then dropped away in the tempo race, won the elimination. So those three riders really have been the dominant forces so far. So the Ukrainian rider just testing things out a little bit. That's Klimchenko. Wants to stretch the tempo on a little bit here. Daria Pikulik into second place for Poland. Tempo very, very steady right now. There is Emily Kay. Big attack now at the front of the race, and this is the rider from Norway. This is Anita Stenberg, 24 years of age, just trying to go clear. Stenberg at this moment in time is 12th overall, has 56 points, so needs some points on the board. Could do with a 20 points for a lap gain to move right up into the top 9 riders in this omnium. So just to explain to you again, if you've not seen the omnium competition, it has totally changed. They now ride a scratch race at the beginning, a tempo race, follow that up with elimination. Then they have the points race to finish things off. And there are no timed events. It's no longer held over 2 days of racing. It's now 1 day of racing. So it really has changed quite considerably to the format that we saw in the Olympic Games, where Laura Trott again took the Olympic Omnium title. Saw Laura Trott yesterday, actually, with Jason Kenny. They are releasing a book in about a week's time about their adventures to this point in their careers. Coming up then to the sprint lap, the first load of points will be on offer. 5 points for Anita Stenberg if she can score the maximum points here, but she also wants to keep the tempo high so that she can take a lap on the rest of the field. So she could be looking at a 25-point gain shortly, as we see Frapporti on the front. Also near the front for France there was Roxane Fournier. 70 laps to go. And Stenberg has scored 5 points and now wants the peloton just to calm down a little bit so she can get herself round and take the lap. Stenberg still with a little bit of an advantage here. 5 points to her. Frapporti took 3. Sharakova there took 2 points. Fournier took the 1. Which will shuffle things around a little bit. That is, Fournier's now in 7th place. Frapporti is in 6th. Sharakova moves firmly into 4th place with 94 points compared to the 116 of Kajihara. And there's confirmation now of the top 5 places. Alexandra Manley of Orica AIS still riding strongly here, the 20-year-old. Who has been the Oceania under-23 time trial and road race champion. Anita Stenberg, though, it's a lonely place out here. The judge pointing at her to signify that she is the leader on the track. 66 laps to go. She needs a peloton just to calm down with any attacking that's going on. As Orselin Trabaita there in the yellow and green goes clear, joined up with the Hong Kong China rider. That is Pang Yao. Still the tempo's high enough that Anita Stenberg is suffering back here. Can't find any more acceleration. Needs to just keep with the focus, keep the attention going. Goes into the final couple of turns into the home straight. But I think, judging by the reaction from the peloton, that she's going to get caught as the Japanese leader, Kajihara, goes clear. 64 laps to go. Now we need a reaction from the other riders. Lotte Kopecky and Emily Kay need to react to Kajihara going clear as they catch now Anita Stenberg. Kajihara setting the tempo on the front of this race now. Lotte Kopecky goes in also and closes that one down. The German rider on the front. Simona Frapporti decides to calm this down. PNT Pursuit champion. Another great rider on the road, 28 years of age. Looks around at Emily Kay. Kay looks right back at her. Interesting choice. Some of the riders wearing the aero hats with the visors, other riders just choosing the normal crash hats with sunglasses. 62 laps of racing to go. Coming up now to the sprint lap. Here we go then. Daria Pikalik trying to get on terms with Simona Frapporti. Emily Kay looking to try and score some points and move herself up. She squeezes through, and it looked like Kay may well have taken it. That would close the gap to 1 point on Kajihara. Great performance here by Emily Kay. She started off her track racing because she saw... just let's tidy this one up. Emily Kay takes 5. Daria Pikalik takes 3. Simona Frapporti 2. Kopecky takes 1. That's the second sprint. Be really quite vigilant because, again, the Japanese rider decides to hit after the sprint, and this could be very dangerous for Kopecky and Kay. Kay now 1 point down on Kajihara. Kopecky now 7 points down on Kajihara. They can't let this one go clear. Emily Kay turns up the tempo again. She asks a little bit of assistance from Lydia Boylan of Ireland. Kajihara, though, has got some good assistance here from the rider from Hong Kong, China. This is Pang Yao, who is now on the front of the race. 56 laps to go. Group behind, finding it very, very difficult to get back to Kajihara. Kajihara, such a talented young rider here. Emily Kay goes to the front yet again, looking for a little bit of assistance. It comes from Lotte Kopecky. Onto the wheel of Kopecky goes Alexandra Manley, who'll know just how good Kopecky is. They both ride in the Continental Peloton with the 2 big trade teams of Lotto Soudal for Kopecky and Orica AIS for Alexandra Manley. 54 laps now of racing to go. Still, this gap is being maintained by the British rider. Sorry, the Japanese rider. The British rider, Emily Kay, needs to get back on terms. She's working hard, looks like she's suffering. She started cycling because she saw her dad was a rider, and she saw a picture of Paolo Pezzo, the Olympic mountain bike champion, who looked cool in the pink mountain bike kit that she was wearing in a copy of her dad's cycling magazine. So she decided to try and ride a bike with very good effect. She helped Lucy Garner with the Junior World Road title back when she took that in 2012. In fact, she took double titles, as Lydia Boylan then accelerates hard to take those points ahead of the rider in second place there from France. Roxane Fournier, the rider from Futuroscope, just beaten to the line there by Lydia Boylan. Roxane Fournier, the Chinese rider, was up there, and that was Lu Chaoling who took the points as well. So they closed in very, very quickly on the leading rider. Confirmation then. Boylan took 5, Fournier 3, Chaoling took 2, Yao Pan took 1. Which leaves Kajihara at the top of the leaderboard by 1 point. From Kay with 115, Kajihara with 116, Kopecky still there. You get the sense that Kopecky's just waiting to pounce the longer this race goes on. She's got a tremendous amount of stamina for such a young rider. Sharakova's in 4th place, Frapporti is in 5th, Fournier now in 6th place. As this rider from China goes clear. Lu Chaoling trying to take an advantage. Simona Frapporti there in the white with the blue shorts, keen to keep everyone involved in the action. Ozrin Trabaita goes to the top of the track in the white, yellow colours with the green. Kajihara also there, swings up. bit of strapping on the knee of the Chinese rider after a crash. 46 laps to go. Big attack then at the front comes from the German rider, Tatiana Paula. Group going clear now. Led by the German rider, 21 years of age. Tatiana Paula just trying to get a little bit of an advantage here on the rest of the field. Confirmation of where we are in the sprints. 117 points now to Keirin, 115 to Kei, 109 to Kopecky. Sharakova still poised, so is Frapporti. If she took a lap, then she would be firmly up there with the leaders. Tatiana Paula of Germany has ridden a bit of a road programme, rode the Lotto Belgian Tour. She's ridden also races like the National Championship road race and a time trial. We're now seeing in a bit of a sprint now, and I got the sense that Kopecky would start to turn the pressure on, and that's what she's doing. Kopecky looking for some points here. Kay's manages to score 1 point, which I think will move her into second place still, but 1 point deficit on Keirin. Kopecky now starting to turn the pressure on. Confirmation then, Lu Chaoling of China ahead of Klimchenko. Kopecky squeezes through to take 2 points. Emily Kay takes 1 point. 39 laps of racing to go to decide this first edition of the new format Omnium. There's the standings, it's still really tight. Keirin 117, Kay 116. Kopecky is just 1 sprint and a 4th place away from going to the top of the leaderboard. Alexandra Manley now stretches the tempo with Frapporti. Can these riders take an advantage? Frapporti needs a lap. Alexandra Manley's on 84 points, just a point behind Frapporti here. So this is a good combination for these two riders. Kopecky knows that she can't let this go, because if she lets Frapporti and Alexandra Manley close up, then they could well see these two riders going for the medals. So Kopecky pretty vigilant to this, as the Belarusian now tries to close the gap. That's Tatiana Sharakova, one of the older riders in this race, a world champion in the points race, an Omnium European champion previously. 35 laps to go. Do tweet in if you would like to, at Ant McCrossan is where you can ask me any questions. Thanks for the message from Sydney White, who is watching carefully every single move on this track. 34 laps to go. Ozzy Trabaita with a little bit of an advantage. Alex Manley looks good. These riders starting to suffer a little bit. Roxane Fournier's legs must be burning. She's right at the back of the string as the acceleration happens. Take a look at Trabaita there on the front in the yellow for the colours of Lithuania, twice a European champion. Very good scratch race rider. Lydia Boylan moving up on the outside in the green of Ireland. Tweet me and let me know what nation you're supporting. Who do you think is going to win this Omnium overall? Is it going to go to Keirin of Japan, Kay of Great Britain, Kopecky of Belgium? As Lydia Boylan now goes clear. As for the WNT team in Great Britain, going clear now, and another big move by her. She's got a very good sprint on her as Kopecky now goes as well. Emily Kay is trying to go to the top of the leaderboard here. It's a fight between Kay and Kopecky. Kay scores the second place. Lydia Boylan takes another 5 points. That's moving her up the standings all the time. But Emily Kay now is going to be the top of the leaderboard in this Omnium competition in this World Cup. This is playing to her strengths, this young rider. Sprint number 5, Boylan of Ireland, 5 points. Kay 3, Kopecky 2, Hockman of the Czech Republic with 1. Kajihara is notable by her absence so far. She's only scored 1 point in this points race. Kay has scored 9, and that leaves the standings looking like that. On the screen then, Emily Kay, 119. Kajihara with 117. Lotte Kopecky with 113. Emily Kay riding a very accomplished Omnium here. Sharakova going clear. This is dangerous for all the riders in the current medal standings, because Sharakova, the Belarusian, is a very accomplished Omnium rider, a European champion, world champion of the points race. This is perfect for her. Knows exactly how to win a points race. You hit the riders at the perfect moment when they're tired, take a lap, go to the top of the leaderboard. Stenberg, there in the red with the white and blue. Paula of Germany, Simona Frapporti of Italy. Lovely pedaling style, Simona Frapporti, so fluid. But this rider now going for glory. Sharakova, Belarus. 30 points in the scratch race, 36 in the tempo, finishing third. Didn't have a great elimination race. Has scored 2 points so far in this points race. Lies fourth place overall, 94 points. But remember, there's 20 points for the winner of this, winner of taking a lap. So you score 20 points automatically. You would move right up, take it to 114. In fact, it would take her ahead of Lotte Kopecky. Now the reaction comes from Orson Trabaita. Trabaita trying to close in now on this leader. This is the leader of this phase of the points race. All the other riders seem to be in a little bit of difficulty now as Sharakova continues. It's up to Lotte Kopecky to do the chasing, but it looks like she's not going to do that. So Sharakova will probably ease off the gas a little bit, take the 5 points. That will move her on to, in fact, it will move her on equal terms with Emily Kay. This is a massive move. She just eases back a little bit so she can score the 5 points. This will put her on 99, then she'll score 20 for taking the lap. She'll put her on 119, she'd be equal on points with Kay. So Sharakova crosses the line there for Belarus, takes the 5. Behind them, Frapporti takes the 4, takes the 3. And now the Belarusian moves up with 20 laps to go and goes equal on points with Emily Kay of Great Britain. Sharakova will go to the top of the leaderboard courtesy of taking a lap. So Emily Kay now needs points. 119, 119, 117, 113. Well, Kay and Kopecky have made a big mistake there in letting Sharakova go. Confirmation then of the standings after sprint number 6. Sharakova, Kay, Kajihara, Kopecky, Frapporti. Trabaita follows Stenberg behind her. Frapporti. These 5 riders then dominating the points right now for the next sprint. This could be putting this one right down to the final sprint. So another group of riders are going to take a lap. This is going to change things around yet again. The biggest benefactor is going to be Frapporti of Italy. She needs to get on there. Simona Frapporti's legs just giving out, but maybe she's being clever. She's holding off the back of this group here to try and score 5 points, which would put her on 93. If she takes the lap again, she would move up and go ahead of Lotte Kopecky. An intelligent ride here by Simona Frapporti. Look at that, she eases back, and then she will just score the 5 points. Lotte Kopecky looking for some points here. Emily Kay is as well. They come round here. Kaggiara has disappeared from this race. Frapporti scores the 5 points. It is Kopecky, Kay and Manley who are going for the next set of points here. This would put Emily Kay back to the top of the leaderboard. As they go for it here, they've really got sore legs, you can tell. Frapporti now takes the lap. That puts her right up to towards the top of the leaderboard. She moves on to 113. But Emily Kay now will be top of the leaderboard. Frapporti takes 5 for Italy. Kopecky takes 3. Emily Kay takes 2. Manley takes 1. But the shuffle at the top of the standings means that Kay of Great Britain is the leader of this omnium, with 1-2-1 to 1-1-9 to Sharakova, Belarus. Kaggiara of Japan. What has happened to Kaggiara in this last race? Kopecky and Frapporti. It's so tight at the top. Is going to take this final sprint. This is going to be really, really close, I'm sure. There are double points on the last lap here. So it's a very, very important sprint. So 10 points for the final sprint. 10 points, 6 points. So whoever takes the sprint, if Sharakova takes the sprint and Kay finishes second, then Kay would be second place and Sharakova would be the winner. Very important moment here. 3 laps of racing to go. Double points on offer. Kay moves around the outside. She is on the wheel of the Belarusian. But Kaggiara is also dangerous here. She would be able to go to the top of the leaderboard. She may well just be waiting for this final sprint. This is looking very, very tight in here. Who is going to take the final points? Kay and Kaggiara. I think Kay's making a bit of a mistake here. She doesn't realise that Kaggiara can still go to the top of the leaderboard. She is simply tracking Sharakova, thinking that she would win. They're all shoulder to shoulder here, but if Kaggiara scores the points, then she will win this race. Now going for the points, the Ukrainian is in there, and also at the front is the French rider. Kaggiara doesn't score any points. Kopecky does though, but I think Emily Kay is going to win this omnium. Emily Kay of Great Britain is going to win the World Cup omnium. She's gasping, she's saying, I got it. That final sprint was taken there by Roxane Fournier, but the winner of the omnium is Emily Kay of Great Britain, ahead of Lotte Kopecky by only 1 point. Literally 1 point between Emily Kay and Lotte Kopecky. She can't believe it. A stunning ride by this young Brit. I remember seeing her as a future star on the track in Manchester. It's taken her a long time to get through from being a future star to win an elite race and to beat those riders. Yes, there's a few stars missing, the likes of Laura Trott, but to beat the likes of Lotte Kopecky, Simona Frapporti, is a fantastic ride by Emily Kay of Great Britain. That was an intelligent race. She almost got it wrong following Sharakova because Kopecky squeezed through to take points, but she wins it by 1 point. Emily Kay takes the victory for Great Britain. Second will be Lotte Kopecky, a great ride by her for Belgium. Sharakova takes a lap but then couldn't score any more points. And Keirin just faded in the final. She finishes in 4th place. Emily Kay, all smiles. That's going to give her a massive morale boost. She's had lots of problems with crashes and injuries. Finally, Emily Kay breaks through to win an elite competition. Well, we're going to turn our attention now to the men's keirin. Here's the highlights of the keirin. And this is the ride-off for 7th place in here. Vinokurov of Ukraine, Sarom of Malaysia, Vigier of France, Williams of New Zealand, Kawabata of Japan, Clark of Australia. This decides then the competition for the 7th to 12th place. Now remember, if you don't realise now, the keirin has changed in format. And that is that with 3 laps to go, the Derny bike, that's the bike on the front, will peel off. It used to be 2.5 laps, but we have lots of problems in the Olympic Games, you may remember. So they will peel off with 3 laps to go, and that means that the riders, it can be seen whether they've overtaken the Derny, because there's a photo finish camera on the finish line, and it takes a shot, and if there's any question, then we know straight away. Now, the other thing about the keirin is that no longer is the overtaking judged by the back wheel, it's judged by the front wheel, which means that the keirin can change a little bit differently, in that you can ride alongside it if you want to. But now 3 laps to go. Who's going to take this one? As the French rider goes to the front, it is Vigier who's going to lead this one out. Behind him is Clark of Australia. As they lead up, the New Zealand rider now making a move. That's Williams. This is looking a little bit messy in here. Williams goes to the front in the black of New Zealand. The Ukrainian onto the wheel, Vinokurov. Williams looking very, very good for New Zealand. Who's going to take this one? They're sprinting flat out now for the finishing line. Vinokurov making a move on the outside. There's a drag race between him and Williams. The Malaysian closes in, but Vinokurov takes it ahead of Sarom. 10.521 for the final 200 metres. But Vinokurov got that one absolutely perfect. Getting ready then for the next race as we see confirmation of the results. Vinokurov took the 7th place, Sarom of Malaysia took 2nd, as we get the Derny bike going again. Here's the lineup of the final. Thomas Barbeck, Yudai Nita, Japanese rider, Mark Jurczyk of Germany, Vasilis Lendl, Alexander Dubchenko and Luis Oliva are the 6 riders in here. There is the Russian rider alongside the German Mark Jurczyk. There's Luis Oliva of Great Britain riding for Team USN. The Czech Republic rider is Thomas Barbeck. Alongside him, Vasilis Lendl. And the rider at the bottom of the track is Yudai Nita, who rides for a Japanese trade team there. Derny rider took a big deep breath and looked like a track sprinter then. Pure concentration from the Derny rider. So on to the back wheel goes Yudai Nita of Japan. They're in the very dark kit, little white side panels. The Lithuanian rider behind, Vasilis Lendl. Vasilis Lendl's had a warning in the previous round. The Russian rider at the back there is Dubchenko. Lendl, 21 years of age for Lithuania. Behind him is Thomas Barbek, 29 years of age. The European keirin champion currently is Barbek. He's the rider in the blue with the white and the red down the back of the jersey. Lewis Oliva on his wheel, comes from Wales, a British champion of the sprint, has ridden 2 Commonwealth Games, 24 years of age. His girlfriend is Kira Horn, who's a member of the Savella Bigler team, who took the bronze medal in the team time trial at the World Championships. He's also a travelling rider for the Olympic Games for the team pursuit for Great Britain. Lendl of Lithuania sitting second wheel now. Barbek right behind him. 4 laps of racing to go. 3 laps, sorry, as we go across the line that time. And the Derny peels off, and these riders will get underway. Who is going to take this one? Looks like it is the Japanese rider, Nita, who still has the advantage. The Lithuanian starting to turn up the pressure there. The 21-year-old Lithuanian. Moving up on the outside is Jurchuk of Germany. Germany's rider starts to increase the tempo. Nita drops down on the Côte d'Azur. Barbek now makes the move. The European champion hits the front. Oliva is boxed in behind. Oh, that was almost a big crash then between those riders. Oh, that was so close. Barbek then hits the front. He's going to go through. It is going to be Barbek who takes ahead of Lendl and Oliva. How did they hold that one up? I really don't know how they managed to. Thomas Barbek, a great sprint then by the rider from the Czech Republic. European keirin champion looking strong. Look at this. How did they hold this one up? The German rider almost losing the wheel. Somehow he manages to pull the bike away from the Lithuanian rider. Vasilis Lendl closing in then on the German rider, and somehow he managed to right it. Confirmation then that Barbek takes the World Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all our medalists.
Straight after Europeans, I went home and I got sick and I had a fever, so I wanted to tell my coach I'm not going here, but I didn't, and I went here, and it was not really good on the trainings, and for the last day yesterday it got better, and today it was just perfect.
And we turn our attention now to the women's keirin. This is the 7th to 12th place ride-off. Riders getting ready. There's the Irish rider, McCurley. The South African, Bayers, at the bottom of the track. The Derny is underway. Like the Derny, and lining up behind it is Burnett Bayers of South Africa. Do join me on Twitter if you'd like to, @AnCross, and lots more action to bring you before the end of the afternoon. Bayers followed by Shannon McCurley of Ireland in the green. Behind her is the rider who rides for a trade team, Wang Chun. Madeline Godby is the American rider. The Italian rider there, Gloria Manzoni. Rough and tumble of Keirin racing. 5 laps to go. Coming around now. Remember, the Derny now peels off with 3 laps of racing to go, not with 2.5. And the rules of overlapping the Derny bike have changed, although the riders seem to have got so used to riding behind the Derny bike that they are not overtaking. It's funny how the psychology continues to work. But coming around now, and it is the South African rider, Bennett Bayers, who's on the front. McCurley doesn't want to take this one on. Who's going to take this? This is for the 7th to 12th place. And Bayers still looks good. Bennett Bayers of South Africa. The riders making their moves on the outside, and it is the Chinese rider, Lulu Lee. Gap starting to open a little bit, moving up on the outside. Madeline Godby of the United States of America trying to find them. Oh, a huge crash. Oh, huge crash between those 3 riders. A big touch of wheels. The Chinese rider, Lulu Lee, is the rider on the front now. It's going to be between her and Shannon McCurley for the 7th to 12th places, and they're even bumping off each other as they make their way into the final phase of this race. Wang Tzu-chun is there. It's the Chinese rider who takes it. Lulu Lee, 57 kilometers an hour. And those riders are going to be a little bit shaken after that crash. Look at that big touch of wheels, overlap of the South African rider who really hit the deck hard. The American rider takes the Italian who goes over the top. Just overlap, just there you go, touch of wheels, that's exactly what happens, and you're going to go and hurt for quite a long time after that. Oh, a big, big fall by the Italian rider. Gloria Manzoni sliding all the way down the track. Once she'd gone, the rest had absolutely nowhere to go. Well, the riders are working their way back. That looks sore. American rider gets back up. Madeline Godby. Her mechanic, oh, that looks very sore. Battle scars of Keirin racing can be pretty terrible. Shannon McCurley there. The other riders, Lulu Lee was relegated, so McCurley actually took the 7th place. Here's a lineup then for the women's Keirin. Courtney Fields, a rider who knows about crashing in a race. Terrible splinters she had after she crashed with Anna Mears on the track. As we look there at Simona Krupa-Keita, alongside her is the Belgian rider, Nikki de Grandel. Alongside her is the next rider from Spain, was Tanya Calvo. Then the Australian we were just talking about, Courtney Field. The Ukrainian is Lyubov Basova. Lyubov Basova, 28 years of age, twice a European champion of the sprint and the Keirin. In fact, that's the current European champion of that discipline. These riders about to get underway. So Shannon McCurley took 7th place for Ireland. Now we're down to the women's Keirin final to decide this World Cup. Who is going to take it? Lyubov Basova of Ukraine, the blue and yellow. Krupa-Keita in here, twice a world champion of the 500 meters and the Keirin. 3 times a European champion of the team sprint, the Keirin and the sprint. Without doubt, Simona Krupa-Keita, the most experienced Keirin rider in this field. Nikki de Grandel of Belgium, sitting there in 4th place. Tanya Calvo, 24 years of age, twice a silver medalist in the European Championships in the sprint and the team sprint. Looking around all the time to see where Krupa-Keita is. That's the rider they're all worried about. Courtney Field of Australia. Junior world champion, silver medalist in 2014. Sorry, junior world champion in the sprint in 2014. Was the actual champion. Courtney Field looking to fight her way into Tokyo 2020 for Australia. Now these riders going for it. Who is going to take this one? Courtney Field closed in a little bit there by the Ukrainian rider who takes on the advantage. Krupakaita likes to try and ride from the front. The Ukrainian and Belgian rider leaning on each other. Krupakaita then is on the front of the race now for Lithuania. The Ukrainian rider Basova trying to challenge on the outside. Basova trying to get on terms with Krupakaita. A little bit of a drag race between the riders, but it is going to be a win for Krupakaita. Courtney Field finishes late on the right-hand side. Krupakaita wins the keirin for Lithuania. Courtney Field finishing very strongly on the outside. There's Krupakaita. Another World Cup win for a very experienced rider. Ahead of Basova in second, Courtney Field in third, Nikki Dickerindello of Belgium, and there's the rundown of the riders.
All our medalists.
Down here again, please.
Well, there's Katie Archibald. What a race last night. Finished the Madison with a fractured radius and scaphoid. She's going to be out for a little while as she tries to recover. Olympic champion, hard as nails. We're back now then with the men's team sprint, and we're going to have the ride-off here for the bronze medal between Germany and Poland. So we'll find out here who's going to take this one for the bronze medal ride-off. Germany, Poland, gold medal between Great Britain and France. As we wait for these riders to get on the track and get started. There's the man with the thighs on the left-hand side there, Robert Forsterman. He has got thighs that are bigger than most people's waist. With him is Eric Engler and Tobias Wachter. Poland made up of Maciej Bilecki, Mateusz Rudek, Kamil Kaczynski. I thought they were about to get on the track then. There is Robert Forsterman. That tattoo, something about strength, as you can see. He has the biggest thighs in track cycling. Forsterman making his way onto the track. Polish team making their way on now with the aerodynamic skin suit. You can see the ribbing on the jersey top there to help with the airflow. Forsterman just checking his bike in the starting gate. Thanks very much for joining me. If you would like to tweet in and ask questions. @McCrossan is where you can join me this afternoon. We're here in Glasgow for the first round of the UCI Track Cycling World Cup. Highlights and live coverage of the first round. These riders then strapping the feet into the pedals, all important. They have clipped pedals as well. So they clip in, then they use double toe straps, so all the power goes through the pedals. Forsterman will lead off. Maciej Bilecki will lead off for Poland. Who's going to take it then? Germany lead off with Robert Forsterman. Those thighs almost touching the carbon of the top tube there. Up against Maciej Bilecki now. Forsterman looks to be accelerating well. Bilecki, little gaps here between the Polish team. The Germans look much better. They go through there, and it is Germany up. 17.449 for the opening 250 compared to 17.627 for Poland. Poland now starting to get a little bit better here. Germany go through, and it's very, very tight between the two teams. Germany still ahead by 0.3 of a second as they now make their way towards the finish line. Tobias Wachter against Kamil Kaczynski. Who's going to take it? Poland take it. What a ride by Kaczynski in the final 250. 43.962 over 61.4 kilometers an hour. So Kaczynski much faster than Tobias Wachter in the final phase. Poland take the bronze medal. Great performance there by Kamil Kaczynski, the winner of the sprint already. Takes the bronze medal. Great change. They've got themselves organised in the final 300 metres or so. Great performance by the Poles. The Germans started well with Forsterman. Just give you an idea, that final lap time by the Polish team was 13.4. The middle lap time by Germany was 12.7 seconds, but their last lap was 13.9 compared to 13.4. This should be an interesting race then between Great Britain and France. Completely changed Great Britain team from the Olympic champions of Jason Kenny, Callum Skinner, Phil Hines. They've swapped out for the young team of Jack Carlin, Ryan Owens and Joe Truman. Ryan Owens was the rider who was the named reserve for Great Britain in the team sprint. France here with Sébastien Viglia, Benjamin Edlin, Quentin Lafargue, the most experienced rider in this squad. The Britain team earlier on in qualification, they look very good indeed, despite their young ages here. The French also, they've kind of changed their track programme. They have started to focus back in on the youngsters. I was at the French Velodrome a few weeks ago, just watching them train. Now they're trying to find the talent that will bring them the medals in 2020. Jack Carlin leads off, Sébastien Viglia leads off for France. Here we go then, who is going to take it. Jack Carlin with a big turn. The French looking really strong here. They're going to pass over to the second phase. The French third man looks to be struggling a little bit. Great Britain with a 17.3 for the opening phase of this race now, as they continue with Ryan Owens. Ryan Owens, a very, very good sprinter. That's change looks very close there for Great Britain. Joe Truman now left on the track against Quentin Lafargue, who's a tremendous sprinter, who is going to take it. The Great Britain youngsters urging each other on. They hit the line. Great Britain take it. 43.479 for Great Britain. 62.098 kilometres an hour. Great Britain win it. 44.414 for France. That's a big win for those youngsters. The French have two young riders, but Quentin Lafargue is experienced in that French squad. What you're seeing now with both France and Britain is perhaps the future teams heading to 2020. .43.479. It's not the fastest time in a team sprint, of course. The world record is still 41.871, held by Germany in Aguascalientes in Mexico in 2013. All smiles by the Great Britain youngsters. They've loved racing here in front of this home crowd. All about experience, these World Cups. Sometimes it's all about getting the points for the Olympics, but it's also about bringing the next stream of riders through. Great teamwork. Turn our attention back then to the women's sprint. This is the ride for the bronze medal between Tania Calvo and Nikki de Grandel. Tania Calvo, the 24-year-old rider from Spain, there at the top of the track in the red and yellow. De Grandel of Belgium. Best of three riders, of course. First rider to take two is the overall winner. So the Belgian rider on the front, Nikki de Grandel, looking around at the Spanish rider, just trying to hold her very high at the top of the track. Who's going to take this one then? De Grandel with a great opening phase of this sprint here. Tania Calvo trying to find a little bit of height to get a bit more speed in towards the finishing line though, and Tania Calvo had the acceleration. She goes 1-0 up. This is the ride then for the gold medals between Simona Krupa-Keita and Lyubov Basova. We've already seen these riders race, of course, in the keirin competition. Krupa-Keita taking that, and Basova now challenging here for the sprint. Basova on the front, 28 years of age, twice a European champion in the sprint and the keirin, the current European champion. Simona Krupa-Keita, twice a world champion in the 500-meter time trial and the keirin, also been a world record holder, and 3 times a European champion in the team sprint, the keirin and the sprint disciplines. It's already taken the gold here in the keirin. Again, the best of 3 rides. They're on the Côte d'Azur at the bottom of the track right now. Thanks very much to Greg Cumming for your message. Enjoying the racing. Hoping for no more big crashes. Hope so. Hope there's no more. There's been some broken bones on this track. It's quite a difficult track to ride, to be honest. It's steep and it's got different feeling than other tracks. We quite often see the crashes in those final turns. Basova holding Krupa-Kaita up the track here. Krupa-Kaita with the acceleration round the outside. Lubiov-Basova struggling to get on terms with Krupa-Kaita, who looks to have held her form into this winter phase of the season. 11.714. Krupa-Kaita goes 1-0 up with an average speed of 61.464 kilometers an hour. Made that look very, very easy indeed. Back then to the bronze medal ride-off, and this is de Grandel and Calvo yet again on the track. Calvo 1-0 up. These riders then have to maneuver each other into position. Tania Calvo having to lead here for Spain in the red and yellow kit. De Grandel has the advantage of sitting here at the back now to try and win this one, bring it back to 1-1. Up above the blue line, that's the Pacers line at the top of the track. And Tania Calvo just trying to intimidate de Grandel a little bit here. Holding her very, very high. De Grandel now has the advantage of being able to dive down the banking. Tania Calvo dives inside the red line. She now has to hold that. She can't come outside it. De Grandel has to go the long way round. Calvo on the outside. Who's going to take it? It is going to be a throw at the line, but Tania Calvo takes it. And 2-0 to the rider from Spain. Simona Krupa-Kaita against Lubiov-Basova. This is going to be again the decider potentially. 1-0 up for Krupa-Kaita, so Basova has to bring this one back to 1-1. On the front, Basova, second place here. Krupa-Kaita 1-0 up. Basova has to win this one. Don't forget you can tweet me at @McCrossan. We're going to bring you before the end of our coverage. We're going to bring you the men's Madison. Basova having to work hard here, total focus, just trying to get into the slipstream of Krupa-Kaita, hanging back so she can drag race onto the wheel of Krupa-Kaita. She decides to go for the sprinter's line though, inside the red line, which means Krupa-Kaita has to go the long way round to beat Basova here. Basova holding her down the track though, and Krupa-Kaita now accelerates. Once she gets past, she's going to go straight for the line. Krupa-Kaita wins it, very easy. 2-0 to the Lithuanian. Great performance by Simona Krupa-Kaita. The Lithuanian rider looked strong all the way through the competition. She wins the World Cup of the sprint here in Glasgow. Makaita looking around, nice and steady, very easy win for her. There's the final classification. Makaita 1, Bassila 2nd, Calvo in 3rd, de Grandel in 4th. Good ride by Holly Takos of Australia in 5th place. And we join in now with the men's Madison. This is the final race of this World Cup. 113 laps of racing to go. We've got in total coming up to our first sprint, so 120 laps of racing. We have 12 sprints along the way. So as we come up to it, it's Australia on the front with Cameron Meyer and Callum Scottson. Cameron Meyer dominated the points race. Callum Scottson is the rider who's now gone into the chase. And remember here that in the Madison, the rules have changed a little bit. And that is that there is no longer a lap taken, and you just see minus a lap, as we see the Russian pairing take the points there. That's Rostovtsev and Piskunov. Let's just tidy this up before we go through the rules. Russia, Australia, Spain and Italy. 5, 3, 2 and 1 points. Get themselves up on the leaderboard. So the rules of the Madison have now changed. Getting used to this now. If you take a lap, you get 20 points, as opposed to just being 1 lap up or 1 lap down. There are 10, every sprint comes up after 10 laps. There are 12 sprints in total, 120 laps, 30 kilometers on the track. The riders riding in pairs, of course. You hand-sling your rider into the action, as we see the Polish rider at the front. You'll notice the riders are wearing red numbers and black numbers as well, so you can pick them out. So it's Banachek of Poland who slings his partner into the action. That's Stanaszewski, who has just gotten to the front. We've already seen him in action so far in the pursuit, being joined immediately by the Russian rider. Things are quite calm right now. Russia lead with 5 points, Australia with 3, Spain with 2, Italy with 1. But there's some great pairings in here in this Madison race. It's all important about when you hand sling your partner into the action. You want to hand sling fresh pair of legs into the action just a couple of laps before the sprint. That's the critical point. Keep an eye on the riders at the bottom of the track. They're the riders in the action. The riders at the top of the track are the riders resting. They're coming in for a hand sling change. The rider at the top will just drop down inside the blue line. A little bit of bumping going on here. The Russian rider squeezing through. That was number 13. That was Piskunov. Goes to the front again. Piskunov looking for some points here. The French rider's making an acceleration around the top of the track. Big move then by France. Looks like Corentin Ermenau, who is going on the attack now. Corentin Ermenau, who will ride actually for Team Wiggins next year. And in fact, it was Niski then who swapped over. Morgan Niski takes the points there for France. Niski, silver medalist in the World Championships in 2016, was the world champion twice in the Madison with a different partner. Niski rides in Great Britain for Team Rally and has done for a number of years. Do join me on Twitter @AntMcCrossan if you would like to ask any questions. The current standings after that sprint mean that Russia are top with 8 points, France with 5, Spain with 4, Australia with 3. Cameron Meyer, though, after his points race yesterday, has got to be the race favourite here. Paired with Callum Scottson, one of the young riders from Australia. Big crowd here in Glasgow. The Swiss riders on the front of the race. They're the team in the red, white and green. Claudio Imhoff, great rider in Madison. There's Hollywood of Great Britain. Not scored any points yet. Callum Scottson, silver medalist, of course, in the Olympic Games in the team pursuit. And a world champion of the team pursuit, the Australian rider, paired with Cameron Meyer. I get the feeling they'll let things settle down and then they'll go on the attack. Middle phase of the race. They'll let some riders hurt their legs. The Russian rider's going clear now. Russian rider, Piskunov again. Polish rider trying to go clear to join up with them here. Banachek and Stanowski. This rider here is the rider Banachek. One lap to go then to the next sprint. 91 laps of racing remaining in this men's Madison. As we see the Polish team now at the front, the Italians trying to go across. The Italian team with Simone Consoni hitting the lap that time. Consoni crossing the line. Behind him is the Kazakhstan rider. 2 riders now at the front. Look like they're not going to continue with this attack. So the Kazakhstan team with Murilev and Shatovkin. Everyone seems a little bit cagey in here. Russia have 5 points that time, Italy with 3, Kazakhstan with 2, Germany with 1. There we are, confirmation of sprint number 3. And that will leave Russia now at the top of the standings with quite a good lead here. 13 points, 5 points to France, 4 to Spain, 4 to Italy. Other teams who've scored, Australia, Kazakhstan, Belgium and Germany. Without doubt, the team of Australia are the strongest team in here. Other teams we should worry about a little bit. Spain with Sebastian Mora, Albert Torres. Mora's been the bronze medalist with Torres in the World Championships. Other teams we should consider, Tristan Margay and Claudio Imhoff of Switzerland have featured in Madison's before. And the Belgians with Kenny de Ketelaere, world champion with Gies van Hooker in 2012. He's right up there at the front now with Morena de Pauw, and it's de Pauw who now leads. Coming up towards the next sprint, no one has been able to break away so far. Poland took the last sprint, 5 points to them, 3 to Russia, 2 to Italy, 1 to Kazakhstan. Russia lead, top of the leaderboard with 11 points ahead of France in second place, Poland in third. Well, they're equal second actually with 5 points. Great shot there of Cameron Meyer. As now we see the acceleration go on with 1 lap to go to the next sprint. It's Belgium who are keen to get onto the leaderboard here with Kenny de Ketelaere trying to accelerate a little bit as France try to get a fresh pair of legs in. Didn't quite manage it in time. Australia throwing the bikes to the line that time. It was Kenny de Ketelaere. Oh, it was very, very tight there. It looks like Australia just got it, and they did. 5 points to them. Belgium take 3. France take 2. There's confirmation on the screen then. Australia 5, Belgium 3. France and Italy the other scorers. And that means that things have swapped around a little bit. And we will still see Russia at the top of the leaderboard. Here we go, 11 points then, but Australia closing in, only 3 points behind now. France with 7, Poland with 5. 4 sprints of the 12. We're at the 3rd of the way through. The Madison discipline is the mainstay then of the 6th day. We saw the 6th day in London just a week or so ago. We're going to see one coming up shortly in Amsterdam. Ghent happens very, very soon. And that will be apparently the final race of Mark Cavendish and Brad Wiggins as a pairing on the Madison scene. The world champions. Wiggins says he's retiring. Now he's hinting he might not. You've noticed the Italian rider's got 2 different coloured shoes on. Take a close look at that as he continues to ride. In fact, both of them do. One yellow, one black. Well, we'll see whether Wiggins decides. He says money talks. Number 3 at the front then, going on the attack. That is Ale Ajevic of Belarus, trying to get a little bit of an advantage. They're in the green neon shoes. Neon colours becoming much more popular back in cycling yet again. We've gone through the black kit phase and now we're back in luminous green, luminous yellow, luminous orange. 72 laps to go. And the French keen to get involved in the action now. Big attack here at the front from the Belarusians and the French. No team has managed to take a lap on the rest of the field. Big sprint goes in then. The French take the maximum points. Is Corentin Hermanot. Dad was a very good track rider, Olympic champion. He will ride for Team Wiggins in 2017. As we see confirmation of France taking 5 points. Belarus 3, Russia 2, Poland take 1. Which has shuffled things around a little bit more at the top of the leaderboard yet again. Russia with 13, France with 12, Australia 8, Poland with 6. It's getting a bit tight there at the top of the leaderboard. 68 laps of racing to go. Attack at the front. And it's now Great Britain who've decided to try and stretch this one a little bit at the midway phase, I guess, of this race. Going clear. It's Mark Stewart from Scotland riding on his home boards. Joining up now with the Swiss rider, Claudio Imhoff. Stewart had that great ride last night in the points race. These riders trying to take the 20 points. So it is number 7 there, Hollywood now in the action. Hollywood of Great Britain joining up with the Swiss team, Imhoff and Margay. Can they take 20 points into the action now for the Swiss team? Is Tristan Margay thrown into the action by his teammate. They're working hard together. No team has managed to take the 20 points. The British team doing very quick changes as we now see Mark Stewart of Scotland here in Glasgow going clear. Immediately joined there by the Swiss rider. Claudio Imhoff now is the rider in the chase. 62 laps to go. A little bit of a reaction now from the peloton. This duo will desperately try to stay away and hope that the peloton calm down. It is Spain now going for the next points with Torres, Albert Torres, another rider who rides for the rally team, with Mora as well. 60 laps to go, and still these two riders continue with the attack at the front. Switzerland took 5, Britain took 3, Spain took 2, Kazakhstan took 1. Well, the reaction is coming. 59 laps of racing to go. Switzerland took the 5 there, confirmation of what I thought. Great Britain took 3, Spain took 2, Kazakhstan took 1, which will leave, I still think, Russia at the top of the leaderboard. They do. 13 points to them, 12 to France, 8 to Australia now, 6 to Spain. And Switzerland and Great Britain further on down the leaderboard. They desperately need this lap, but it looks like the Spaniards are not prepared to let this one go. And the front of the race then, keep an eye, it is Great Britain in the white, blue and red with Switzerland. The German squad closing this one in. Lucas Liss, Sebastian Wojcicki. Lucas Liss, great track rider. The Italian team also involved in the mix with Simone Consoni. And Mark Stewart throws Ollie Wood into the action, who looks around. We see the counter-attack that comes from Australia. And now it looks like a big attack at the front by Australia, trying to stretch the tempo, going over the top. This is Cameron Meyer, twice the world champion. He's looked supreme on the track this weekend. Cameron Meyer goes clear. Can he now take a lap on the rest of the field? The alarm bells are going out. Comes in to sling his partner, the Olympic silver medalist, into the action. They're looking around to see what damage they've done. The answer is they're just really stretching the race. Callum Scottson now tucks into the aero tuck. Coming up to the next sprint. All important here for Australia. They're in 3rd place now, 8 points to the 13 points of Russia. But it looks like they could be closing it all. Crash there. One of the Swiss riders has hit the deck, and one of the British riders also on the deck there. The points then go to Australia at the front. They're continuing with this chase. So Switzerland and Great Britain are down with a couple of riders on the deck here. I think one of the German riders is down. Just looking to see who is down and who's up. So Britain are not in that crash, so it's Germany and Switzerland who have tumbled. Australia took the 5 points then, Belgium took 3, Spain took 2, Italy took 1. And now we have 4 teams on the attack who look like they're getting close to taking a lap. German rider still unable to get up, still suffering after that crash. Australia took 5, Belgium 3, Spain 2, Italy took 1. And they're getting close now to taking the lap on the rest of the field. Australia lead this Madison with 13 points, equal on point with Russia in 1st place, with France in 3rd with 12 points. The Swiss rider who hit the deck there has lost a lot of lycra, just finding it difficult to get back on. Is Tristan Margate. He's leaving his partner in the action and can continue with the race. Of course, they're at a disadvantage unless Margate can get back onto the track, because they need to have a rest now and then. Keep an eye on the front of the action then. .43 laps to go, and it looks like we're going to see 4 teams take a lap. Italy, Australia, Belgium also. German rider trying to get back on here as we come up to the sprint point. The Belgian team going to the front. The Australians are in the mix, so are the Spaniards. And it is going to be the Belgian squad who take the points that time. It was Kenny de Ketelaere, former world champion, throws his partner into the action. Well, this race is a little bit messy right now, but we have a group of 5 riders at the front. Belgium took 5, Spain took 3, Australia took 2, Italy took 1, which will leave, I think, Australia at the top of the leaderboard, with Belgium closing in now. Australia with 15 points, Belgium with 12, France with 12, Spain with 11. So the points phase at the front is that Australia lead. Number 5 has been giving a warning. That's Moran Torres. Just trying to work out what's going to happen to them. Normally, yellow flag shows the neutralisation of a rider. So I'm wondering why Spain are being shown neutralised at this moment in time. So the warning there of the yellow flag was for causing the crash. So the Spanish team have been given the warning. And the new scoring system that we're seeing on the board means that if you gain a lap, the rest of your competitors lose 20 points. Seems to be the way that we are showing things, as opposed to 20 points being added to your points total, which is a little bit strange, but we'll go with it for now. As the riders in Spain have to be a little bit careful here not to cause any more problems. That was Albert Torres, the bronze medalist in the World Championships, a magnificent Madison rider at the front. That was sprint number 9, Spain with 5, Australia with 3, Belgium with 2, Italy with 1. Which I think will still leave Australia at the top of the leaderboard with a couple of points advantage. It's getting a bit tight. The teams are on the same lap. Are Australia, Spain, Belgium, France, Italy, Poland and Great Britain. But the teams that are fighting for the win are really Australia, Spain and Belgium right now. As the Australians look around at Spain and say, you need to do the chasing. The Swiss team looking down at the Italians. The Italians now going on the attack now to try and go 20 points ahead. And the Italian team looking good on the front. The Swiss team are going with this one. The Italians would score 20 points here compared to the other teams. The Swiss team minus 15 points right now. They need to move themselves back up. The Australians trying to close this one down. Cameron Meyer and Callum Scottson still looking much stronger than the rest of the squads, I would say. Cameron Meyer is looking absolutely tremendous on the bike. He took that little break. He said, I just need some time. I need some time to mentally recover from being part of the dimension data for Quebec team. He just took a break and now he's back. He kind of, everyone thought he'd retired, but now he's back and looking better than ever. As now the Spanish team try to dish it out to the Australians, and this is number 5. This is Sebastian Mora, who throws Torres into the action. So the Australians now need a fresh pair of legs. This would put Spain at the top of the leaderboard, I think, or equal on points with the Australian squad. 5 points will go to Spain. The Australians now in second place with 3, 20 laps of racing to go. But the Spaniards continue with this big attack. Australia on 21, Spain on 21 now. They're equal on points, and they're equal on any laps taken as well. So Spain took 5, Australia 3, Belgium 2, Switzerland took 1. But it means that we are seeing a tie with 2 sprints to go. 21, 21 and 16. They're the teams in the race. Wow, the Spanish team closing in on another 20 points here. That's a big move by them. They are going to go to the top of the leaderboard. Mora and Torres. Spain gained the lap. And Australia now gain a lap as well. So the Belgian team now on the front of the race. Australia also will take a lap on the rest of the field. They need to catch the Spanish squad, who really are starting to turn the tempo up. Australia, if they can close in on the next group just in front of them, then they will also be on the same lap as the Spanish team, who now have 41 points compared to 21 points for Australia. Claudio Imhoff comes round, only 2 more sprints left to go. 11 laps of racing remain. Australia are behind now this Spanish squad. The Belgian team go through. They take the 3 and now try to continue with the big attack. So it is Kenny de Ketelaere who stretches, and the Australian team trying to go with this one. The Belgians know they need to get there. We put them equal on points with the Spanish squad. Belgium 5, Australia 3, Switzerland 2, Italy with 1. And as they come around now, Spain have 41, Australia 24, Belgium with 21, France with 12. And it's all going to come together, and Australia are going to go back to the top of the leaderboard. Look out for the Australian team right now. The Spaniards are trying to stretch this on. The Australians are trying to get back on the same lap as the Spanish team. If they do, they will be the champions. 7 laps to go. The race is split. On the other side of the track is the group that contains the Spaniards, who are stretching it out all the time, putting in some massive turns. Going into the race now is Albert Torres. Right on his wheel as the German squad. Here go the Italians on the front of the chasing group with the French squad. The Swiss leave a gap. That puts the Australians into difficulty. The Australians need to get there to win this race. Four laps of racing to go. The Spaniards are holding the Australians at bay. The minute the Australians get to the front here, they will be the leaders of this Madison, but they could lose it on the final sprint. Two laps of racing to go. France and Italy take the lap now. One more lap of racing to go. Are the Australians there? I don't know if they are. France and Italy take a lap. They move into second and third. The Australians drop down. The Italians take the final sprint. And 32 points becomes 37. Spain will win this at Madison with 45 points. Australia will also just take the lap at the end. They get 44 points. Italy take 38. France take 34. The Belgians also take a lap as well, just at the end. So Spain take 45, Australia 44, Belgium take 41. So the winners of the Madison will be Spain, Australia with 44, Belgium with 41, and the Spaniards all pain, but that was a significant effort by them to win the Madison. A great performance by the Spanish squad. Mora and Torres, the bronze medalists in the recent World Championships, win the World Cup here in Glasgow.
The Madison, the team of Spain, Sebastian Mora and Albert Torres. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, please, today, and to celebrate all our victors.
Spain take 45, Australia 44, Belgium 41. Well, some great racing here in Glasgow. Still recovering, the Spanish squad. There's the standings. Great Britain ahead the medal standings at the end of the 14 events.
So if they ride around at the bottom of the track, please give that for your winners from Spain.
France in second, Lithuania in third. As the riders come off the track after the end of a very hard Madison. So we've seen some great performances here on the track over the last 3 hours or so. I guess this World Cup is summarised by a mix of experience and the youth that we will see coming through as we head towards the next phase of the Olympic cycle, which will take us to Tokyo 2020. We're seeing riders who will emerge at World Championships, and we look forward to seeing how they progress. They are the stars of the future that we've seen here on the track. As we look here at the result of the men's team sprints.
Medals will be presented by acting head of major events, Rebecca Edson.
Here's our podium for the men's team sprint. The Polish
Winners
team
of
of
the
Bielecki,
bronze medal.
Rudik and Kuzinski will take the bronze medals.
Represented by Maciek Bielecki, Mateusz Rudik and Kamil Kuzinski.
The medals being presented then to Bielecki, Rudik and Kuzinski of Poland.
Winners of the silver medal, France.
Here's the French team with Vigier,
Represented
Edeline
by
and
Sébastien
Lafargue.
Vigier,
They took the silver medals.
Benjamin Edelang and Quentin Lafargue.
Great team sprint competition.
Tissot UCI Track.
And here's a very young British team who take the gold medal in the men's team sprint.
Great Britain. Represented by Jack
Carlin,
Brian
Owens and Truman.
and Joe
Next phase of
Truman.
Great Britain's team sprint. Great performance in front of the home crowd. There we are, Great
The
Britain
flowers will be presented
take the
by Head of
gold
Sport,
medal.
Glasgow Light, Billy Garrett.
And then within half a lap, you can slide all the way into the back. So it's one of
Well, there we are. We've had great days of competition here in Glasgow. The crowd have appreciated some great performances. I think the standouts are Cameron Meyer, who won the points race, and Katie Archibald winning the first women's Madison in a World Cup with her teammate Manon Lloyd with a broken scaphoid and radius. Just shows how tough these bike riders can be. We've just seen a thrilling Madison won there by the Spanish team. But we're going to move on now to Apeldoorn for the next round of the World Cup. Of course, we'll then move on to Cali and Los Angeles before we complete the track season with the World Championships. Well, thank you very much to all of you who've been here for our live coverage and our highlights of this World Cup here in Glasgow. We'll leave you here as we look across this magnificent Sir Chris Hoy velodrome with some highlights of the racing we've seen over the last few days. Goodbye for now.